Is my mic good? Hold on, we gotta back up. Wait, hold on. Got the wrong camera. We got the wrong camera. Look at us, look at us, look at us, look at us. We looking good. We looking good. All right. Got the whiteboard. Got the whiteboard. Hold up, where my tunes at? Let me get my tunes right. My bad, good people. As you can see, we got the new setup. It's coming through nice. Let me back it up. We got to show the Caribbean vibes. Y'all know what we do here, man. How was everybody's weekend? My bad, I didn't have the song already queued up. I sound better with this instrumental. This is my instrumental. Yes, sir. All right, so make sure as you come in that you're liking, you're sharing, send it to a friend, but definitely make sure that you like. That's going to help out the algorithm so we can have a much better, more engaging conversation. We are going to talk about relationships today and a couple other topics. I celebrated love with one of my best friends, SB Steve Branch. Got married this weekend. Shout out to him and Brett. That was definitely a dope vibe. We went up to Boston, had it right on the beach. Cool little setup. Cool setup. Cool setup. All right, so as y'all are coming in, just make sure that you like, share with a friend. I'm just gonna write something real quick. Y'all can't read that. My bad. Don't worry, we'll adjust the camera angle so y'all can see it. Montclair High 1. Yeah, we got a lot of. Hold up. Oh, man. Nobody ever reminds me. Hold up. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right, so as you can see, we're going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about marriage. I was having a conversation with some of my homegirls, which, by the way, fellas, if you got a homegirl in your life, then it's on us a lot of times to be that man that, we have a lot of conversations, and y'all know I'm a proponent of getting your male, hopefully family members, whether it's your father, whether it's a cousin, maybe it's an uncle, involved in helping a lot of our ladies, I don't know, navigate these relationships, man. It's necessary. It is definitely necessary. We need people that are helping. And so whenever I have a conversation with my homegirls, I'm always I try to be very particular about whether the input that I'm giving, whether or not it's advice or just, that I'm being very realistic, honest, straightforward, and direct. because I don't want to mislead them, especially at the ages that we're at now. I'm in my mid 30s. I'm 36 and nobody has time. Nobody has time. I feel like a lot of us have already wasted a lot of time. So when it comes to relationships, it's definitely something that, I take seriously. And I don't necessarily, I wouldn't say that I enjoy having those conversations, but I just feel that a lot of those conversations are necessary. And a lot of us are struggling in these areas when it comes to relationships and things of that nature. It's just we weren't taught it. So we're gonna have some conversations. And I kind of asked the question, like, yo, if you had to get married to somebody right now, who would it be? Who would it be? So that's kind of the question that, keep that in the back of your head. They always say that you should marry your best friend. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but we are going to have a convo about it. But first, and y'all saw me writing on the board, so we're going to start off. We're back to Power of Awareness with Neville Goddard. And we're going to start off with a chapter called Reverence. All right. So this is the last chapter in the book. But then the book also includes like another book within it. So this is the last chapter before we get into our awakened imagination. So when it comes to reverence, besides Nipsey's song, Deep Reverence, what do y'all think of when y'all hear reverence? I looked it up. So reverence, I'm not even going to zoom in on the board, but for the word of the day, reverence, deep respect for someone or something. So a deep respect for someone or something. So put that in the back of your head as we go through this chapter. This one, the way that it starts off within the second sentence is, in my opinion, the key to life. The second sentence that I'm getting ready to read here, actually the third one, because the first one is just some scripture, but the second sentence in the actual chapter is the key to life. So let's get into it. Chapter 27, reverence. Never wouldest thou have made anything if thou hadst not loved it. Wisdom 11:24. All right. So y'all know I got to get on I don't even know what language that's in. But let's get into the reading. So here we go. In all creation, in all eternity, in all the realms of your infinite being, the most wonderful fact is that which is stressed in the first chapter of this book. You are God. You are the I am that I am. You are consciousness. You are the creator. This is the mystery. This is the great secret known by the seers, prophets, and mystics throughout the ages. This is the truth that you can never know intellectually. Who is this you? That is you. That it is you. John Jones or Mary Smith, is it absurd? It is the consciousness which knows that you are John Jones or Mary Smith. It is your greater self, your deeper self, your infinite being. Call it what you will. The important thing is that it is within you. It is you. It is your world. It is this fact that underlies the immutable law of assumption. It is upon this fact that your very existence is built. It is this fact that is the foundation of every chapter of this book. No, you cannot know this intellectually. You cannot debate it. You cannot substantiate it. You can only feel it. You can only be aware of it. Become aware of it. One great emotion permeates your being. You live with a perpetual feeling of reverence. The knowledge that your creator is the very self of yourself and never would have made you had he not loved you must fill your heart with devotion. Yes, with adoration. Let me read that sentence again. You live with a perpetual feeling of reverence. The knowledge that your creator is the very self of yourself and never would have made you had he not loved you must fill your heart with devotion. Yes, with adoration. One knowing glimpse of the world about you at any single instant of time is sufficient to fill you with profound awe and a feeling of worship. So, how did the second sentence go? You are God. You are God. This is something that I believe makes a lot of people uncomfortable. It's funny. I was thinking about going back to my old Instagram, which was OG_God. And one of the reasons why I got rid of it, people were misinterpreting it. Actually, people were misinterpreting it. They were looking at it more as like, oh, he's just putting like he's the OG God, like he's the head of OG. No, it's not what I meant. Not what I meant at all. Just like I feel like my handles have always, whether it's the Finesse God, and then I went to Finesse God because it's like it has nothing to do with OG. That's just how I'm envisioning myself. So when I looked up the definition of God, that's when I was like, yeah, I want to strive for that. So that's why I made my Instagram OG_God. However, a lot of people get uncomfortable with it. A lot of people don't want to call themselves gods. And imagine coming from something and not being able to call yourself that. In any other situation, whoever creates us, especially in their image, we would look at ourselves as, oh, yes, my mother's a gorilla, so therefore I'm a gorilla. My mother's an alligator, so therefore I'm an alligator. In any other situation, my father's an alligator, so I have to be part alligator. We look at it in every other situation except when it comes to our God. You know, we call God our creator, but if we really believe, like for the real believers, if you really believe that God is our creator, however you conceptualize God, we would have to understand then that we are gods, right? So a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that we are gods because what comes along with that? That means that we're in control of everything. That's a lot of responsibility that comes along with it. No, a lot of people don't want to lead. A lot of people don't want to play that leader role. And what ends up happening is rather than accepting the powers that we have and empowering, whether it's us, our younger generations, however it plays out, we instead put everything and responsibility on God. So I don't know. It's just the word. It's just the word. You take what you want from it, leave what you don't want. And, you kind of just go from there. However, it's something for us to consider that if we did embrace ourselves as truly regarding ourselves as gods, what difference would that make in our lives? So just wanted to share that with y'all. Now let's get to it. Let's get to the actual convo at hand. We got a couple short videos, nothing long today. We're just reviewing a couple shorter videos and maybe a part of maybe a little bit of a longer video, but relationships. And as I was saying before, we got onto the word of the day, relationships. Who is a relationship the hardest thing that we'll ever have to do? Y'all tell me in the chat. Y'all let me know if relationships are difficult for y'all or if y'all just see them as something that's just a breeze. You're able to just get through it, whatever it may be. Y'all let me know if relationships are difficult for you. And why I ask that is because shouldn't they be difficult? Like, think about this. Relationships, we've talked about this before. We get no training when it comes to it. It's literally two people coming together who, when it's a lot easier, especially as society tells it, to just live by ourselves. And it is. It is. And shout out to my brother Queez. Queez was with us celebrating the love over the weekend. That was the other part that was amazing. Got to see my bros. Queez wrote, "The most rewarding and toughest thing I have ever done." That's not surprising. That's not surprising. I would assume that it would be. I would definitely assume that it would be. And Queez is talking about, marriage. And it's one of the saddest things, Queez. I'll be totally honest. Because I was on the phone with a couple of my homegirls, and as they're talking about a lot of their relationship issues, and especially it's a group of women that I think are amazing women, great personalities, beautiful women, and a lot of them are not married, going through the relationships, going through the same relationship challenges that a lot of us are going through. And when you're a guy looking at a lot of these situations, you tend to see it through a different perspective. And, I'm talking to my homegirls and I'm really just concerned. So it goes from like arguing with them at times to really just when you have a conversation with them, and I haven't argued with them in a long time ago about like relationships, the dynamics. We haven't had our Kev Samuels, convos in a while, but it just becomes sad because you see, what you believe are amazing women. And it happens the same thing with the guys. I'll be totally honest. That's why one of the reasons why I was so happy to celebrate my bro this weekend because you see certain guys that really deserve relationships. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Like certain guys that really deserve relationships, that want to be in relationships, that want to get married, that want to just be traditional husbands, you know, and protect, provide, and do any and everything to lead their marriage. And when you have somebody like this, and we're getting older and older, and we don't see that person having a marriage, it can get sad. It can get sad, like where you just worry about it. And certain people really deserve it more than others. It just is what it is. A lot of us are ready for it. Some of us aren't. But when it comes to the conversation, when it came to the conversation I was having with my homegirls, I'm just sitting here like, yo, what if like they don't end up, getting married? What if they don't end up able to have kids? What if this generation is just the generation that really just is living single until, we call it quits? So it just, a lot of these questions came up, and let me make sure that I'm catching up with the chat as well. So Ant wrote, relationships can be difficult. Starting a business can be difficult, but the most rewarding and toughest thing I've ever done is parenting. Dope, bro. Yeah, definitely RIP Kev, man. That and Queez wrote that too. And yeah, it's I don't know. It would really be the saddest thing. And I have conversations with my homegirls, and now I can hear, you ever hear the conversation shifting to where you could tell, like, damn, they really starting to give up on the possibility of getting married. Like they're giving up to the point where they start to convince themselves why, if it doesn't happen, why it's okay. And it's not okay for me. Like, it's not okay for me to just sit back and just say like, yo, this is an amazing woman. This is an amazing guy, that would be an amazing parent, an amazing husband, amazing wife. But for whatever reason, we just can't seem to get it together. Like we can't seem to get on the same page. And I always bring up the fact that, we're taught all these things while growing up, but we're not taught at all how to interact with each other, how to build with each other, how to engage in conversations with each other. Like we're not taught any of these things. And then when we see the results of them not happening, a lot of times we'll sit back and wonder like, damn, what happened? But we weren't groomed to be husbands. We weren't groomed to be wives. And we see a lot of those issues come up. So let me Far, shout out to Big Bro Far. Yeah, this is gonna be one of those convos, and this is not. Let me be very clear. This is not a convo bashing women. It's not even a convo bashing men, but it's really just something that I was thinking about, and I wrote down a couple questions. And it's like, if we continue to not get married, if we continue to not see the value in relationships at this rate that we're going now, where do we see the results of all this? Like, how does this look 40 years from now? How does this look 10 years from now? How does this look for our kids' generation? If we're not, well, a lot of us aren't having kids or whatever it may be. How does this look? Even if we're having kids, but we're not getting married, like how does it's up? So those are the questions that I was really just wondering, because you start to ask yourself like, oh, is this just the thing to where they're like making this more than what it is? Or is this really a problem in society to where we're not getting married? So I want us to take a look at some of these videos. Some of them, like I said, are a lot shorter than others. But I just really want us to kind of go through, and this video in particular, hold on, the one that I'm going to show y'all. Hold up, shoot, I just had it queued up. Where is it at, baby? My bad, hold on. My bad, I deleted it. Give me a sec. My bad. All right, so this goes through 7 reasons why we're having issues with relationships, and we're just going to talk through them and then get a couple comments from, we got like Ben Shapiro, we got Jordan Peterson on here, and then we got I forget that shoot, Tonight's Conversation. I'm not sure if y'all had tapped in with them, but they put out some dope content as well. All right, so let's get the video up, let's go through it, and let's get y'all insight And y'all tell me what's going on.
And theories all dedicated to enlightening us on the matter. In spite of their best efforts, it seems that we're still generally somewhat clueless when it comes to matters of the heart. In fact, there's been a startling rise in separation and divorce rates over the past decade. This has us shaking our heads and wondering, why are modern relationships so fragile? Let's try to find some answers. Here are 7 key reasons why most relationships nowadays fall apart so easily. 1. You're not ready yet. All too often, our relationships dissolve because you're simply not ready to.
You hear this all the time. You hear this all the time, and I've only like glanced over this video, so I don't even know what she's gonna say. But I gotta interrupt from the jump. We hear this all the time that we're not ready. This is what I'm talking about, though. Why aren't we ready? We don't necessarily ask ourselves these questions. And shout out to Lucille in the building. Let me make sure I definitely shout out my good people. Lucille wrote, "Good morning, beautiful people. Happy Monday." Lucille wrote, "I want to get married to the right person, and that can only be the man God has for me." Is that true, though, Lucille? Like, I really wonder, like, seriously, is that true? Like, is there a right person? Is there just one person that God has for you? Or have we met plenty of people that could have been the right person, but it's just on us, both of us, to decide or not to do the work? Because if we just go into it and really think that there's one right person for us out of all these people on this planet, like, aren't we kind of setting ourselves up for failure? Like, aren't we playing the lottery? And I agree with you when you say that with the wrong person, it won't work. But just because with the wrong person that it won't work, that doesn't mean that there's only one right person for you. That just would be my opinion. It's just very hard for me when I talk to people that are married. I don't necessarily get the feeling, especially if they've been married for a while, that they believe that this person is just this was just the person that God chose for them, when they were born or before they were born. It was already written, that this would be their person. I don't necessarily hear that in convo. So I'm more so asking. Because a lot of times I think that we're looking for the right person rather than just becoming the right person. You see what I'm saying? Like, I think that we put so much of an emphasis on the right person coming into our life rather than us just maybe making certain changes and making ourselves ready as the right person. Um, so I don't know. Let's keep going through the video.
To be in one yet. Maybe your needs at the time are to keep things casual and fun, not in a state of serious commitment. A strong, healthy relationship is all about positive compromise, dedication, patience, and sacrifice. Modern relationships seem to have a lost sight of that. The unrealistic standards set by mainstream entertainment and social media train us to think that a perfect relationship should be one where we're always happy, with zero conflict.
This is definitely a fact, yo. This is the whole Disney fantasy experience, to where we really believe that a marriage, think about it, the only thing that we are taught about marriage as young kids is that it's supposed to be blissful and perfect and all these other different things that are just not realistic to the actual experience based on the people that I've spoken to. I can't say that I know by experience, but just based on the people that I speak to, it's just not that. It's not. So let me hold on. And Lucille wrote, "Yes, there is a right person for me." See, Lucille, I think there's a I'm not saying that there's not a right person for you. I'm saying that I think there's I think there's right people for you. I think that there's right people for you. And it's just on you and those right people to be on the same page and commit to the same journey together. I don't think that there's necessarily just a perfect fit for everybody. Just I don't know, but I could be wrong. Shoot, I hope that my future marriage ends up just being the perfect blissful fit. Ant wrote, "Dak, what would you do if the person you're with ticks all your boxes except if she refuses to be submissive to you? what is the work that is needed? And I ask because submissive is important to you. Then she ain't checking all them boxes. Like, cause I'm gonna be honest, yo. I'm gonna be honest. If a woman is not willing to submit to you, it's not just the submission, in my opinion. It's the fact, all the reasons why she's not submissive. Because that's a trust thing. Because if all these women talk about, the reason why they don't want to submit is because there's not guys out here that are worth submitting to, what you're saying is you don't trust guys. That's what I hear. Let me not say what you're saying. What I hear is that you don't trust guys in order to submit to them, or you don't see a value in submitting to them. That's those two things. So the one is the not trust, where it's like, yo, I don't know if I trust this person to lead. And the two is, I may trust them to lead, but where they're leading, I feel like I can go there and beyond by myself. So why would I even feel the need to now submit to you when you're not bringing me a greater value than I can bring to myself? That's what a lot of the mindset is. These are just the conversations that I'm having. So for me personally, if you're not willing to submit to me, I just don't think that the relationship will work, just based on how I am, knowing myself. I'm very, very much willing and able to take on that sacrifice, because leading is a sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Like, leading is a sacrifice. That's what I believe I'm built for. So therefore, that's what I want to provide to my family. And that's how I see us being able to have the best chance of getting to where I would like to lead us, you know what I mean? Based on our, family goals. So for a woman to check all those boxes, I damn near would rather a woman check none of the other boxes but trust me enough to be submissive to me, and we could figure out the other stuff. I'll be totally honest. But if a woman trusts me, then I feel more comfortable with dealing with everything else because she trusts me. So I guess that's a long way of answering that question, but that's how I feel. Like, I forget all them other boxes. I need the submission. I need the trust, because that's what's gonna guide. Everything else could change. How your feelings on checking off that box could change tomorrow. You checking off that box could change tomorrow. But if somebody trusts me, and what I want could change. But if you trust me as the leader, then you're going to trust that this vision may change, but we still got our eyes on the prize. You see what I'm saying? Because it's hard to follow somebody, whether it's sports, relationships, work, anything. It's hard to follow somebody that you don't trust and respect. And we submit every day to who gives us our paycheck. So you ain't gonna submit to me? Nah, bro, ain't no way you submitting to your boss at work and you ain't submitting. Nah, we ain't doing that. So that's just me. But to each their own. I am a kingdom person, and divine counterpart also is. Okay, Lucille. Don't look for counterfeit. Be a counterpart. Aunt wrote, my homegirl's perspective. She doesn't see what submitting was necessary. She doesn't see why submitting was necessary. Her mom didn't submit and had a decent life. Mom's single, though. Laughed my ass off. Listen to what you just said. Let me read this back. Let me read this. Yo, in my Kevin Samuels voice, you just can't make it up. What does he always say? Or used to always say, you can't make this up. All right, so listen to what Aunt just wrote. And this is his homegirl's perspective, not his. He wrote that she doesn't see what submitting is necessary. Why it's necessary? Because her mom didn't submit and had a decent life, and mom's is single, though. He put the laugh in my. He already knew what time it was. Think about this. First off, who out here is looking for a decent life? Let's look up the definition of decent. I don't know. Let me maybe conforming with generally accepted standards of respectable or moral behavior. An acceptable standard. Okay, that's cool. I think actually decent is a great word. I'm glad you used that, Aunt, because I think that more of us, because what I was getting ready to say is, like, first off, who's out here looking for decent, like a decent life? And I'm not looking for a decent life. I'll be totally honest. But I think a decent partner, two decent partners can create an amazing life. You get what I'm saying? Two people that are living up to an acceptable standard. It's like it says satisfactory as well. That's kind of when I hear decent, I kind of hear basic, but I think we should just redefine what's basic. So I get what you're saying, and I don't even want to get into the breaking down the word decent, but if you single, I'm not gonna say moms is unhappy, but I really believe that our parents don't do a good job of keeping it real with us. I believe that they're lying to us our entire lives. They're lying to us. They're misleading us. I really believe that. And I don't believe that a lot of these single women that are well into their 40s, 50s, and 60s, I don't believe that they're really happy. I believe that society is trying to convince them to be happy and that they're trying to convince themselves, but I feel like they're lying to themselves, and even worse than that is they're lying to their next generation. They're lying to their kids because it's just not realistic. Like, we're not here. We're here to be with somebody. Like, that's just what I believe. We're here to be with somebody. We're on earth to live and share those experiences with somebody else. That's just what I believe. So, and if I didn't believe that, then I just wouldn't even care about it. I'll be totally honest. I just would be single and just be cool with that. Like for the rest of my life. Lucille wrote, you got to be equally yoked and understand the assignment. I don't think you necessarily have to be equally yoked. I'll be totally honest. Oh, my bad. I got to keep up with it. All right, let me read the chats. My bad. I didn't know y'all was getting busy in here. The relationship topics. All right. So you got to be equally yoked and understand the assignment. Lucille wrote. Lucille wrote, the first step is to trust God. Trust me. Then I'll let you know how to trust God. Now let me stop. No, the first step is to trust God. And wrote, laughing my ass off. Shout out to Ja in the building. Ja wrote, LOL. Lucille wrote, my dad was married to the wrong woman. He thought beauty was everything. Yeah, a lot of people, but this is the thing. We got to understand that if we're lucky, 99% of our relationships are going to fail. If we're lucky, think about that. If we're lucky, let's say 90%, 9 out of 10 of our relationships are going to fail. We only need to find one. So therefore, even if you get married and it's the wrong person, if you're in a relationship and it's the wrong person, like, I feel like that shouldn't deter us from finding, I don't know, like, and I guess my issue is more so the right or wrong woman. It just may not be a good fit. It just may not have been a good fit. So I don't know. I know a lot of us talk about, whenever you talk to somebody about a relationship, like, why aren't you in a relationship? Oh, I haven't found the right one. Everybody is more so quick to blame the other person. Oh, that was the wrong person. That was the wrong person. What about us? Like, let's keep it real. A lot of us, we're not doing what we need to do to live up to those standards. All right, so Ant wrote, that was my whole argument. I don't want decent. I'm working. Ant, you feel me? Like, I ain't living out here for decent. Like, decent is for people who don't want to compete. Like I'm a competitor in all aspects. Like, I want to win. Like, I want the most amazing life, most abundant, like all of that, purposeful, all that. That's what I'm looking for. Kiki wrote, I don't think there is a right person. I think both people just have to be willing to put in the effort to make it work and agree that it's a forever thing. No matter what, it's a commitment. Kiki, this is my mindset on it. I 100% agree with you because I'll keep it real. I'll keep it real. There's a lot of women that I see out here that I know could fit, be a good fit with a lot of, different types of guys. But a lot of times I feel like we don't go into it with an understanding like, this is work. We are committed. Sacrificing a lot of things, especially the way society glorifies being single, living this free life, being independent. So it's going to look like we're sacrificing even more. But that's just if we're gauging it based on what society calls success. If we look at what has always been seen as successful, getting together, being married, having a family, it's not on par with what society describes as successful. So I think a lot of times we feel that we're making a huge sacrifice by being in a relationship, by getting married, just based on how society tells us we should be living. You know what I mean? Where before society used to say like, hey, you need that house with the white picket fence. Now it's telling us, nah, don't get that house with the white picket fence, rent your whole life and just run through, whatever chicks, guys, live life that way, be free. So I'm with you. I'm with you. And I think that a lot of different people, if people just make the commitment, even if two decent people come together and just make a commitment, hey, this is what we're moving towards, there's always going to be that FOMO where it's like, oh, we're going through life. Oh, that fear of missing out, being single, on all my homegirls or my homeboys that are just looking like on Instagram that they're enjoying life, but in all actuality, they're going home and it's not a great feeling. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it going. Kiki wrote, but also I think it's important to make sure they check all the boxes in the beginning before committing. I agree. I agree that it's necessary. You have to, in the beginning, we got to be realistic. And I don't think we're being as realistic as possible. And this is why I said that I think that, especially for women, we should get a lot of guys in our family involved in your dating situations. Because we know how this goes. A guy, we are built to finesse women. Look at what society has taught us. Look at our leaders. Look at what we're indoctrinated with from a young age. That's what we're built to finesse. So therefore, you need a guy involved, because a guy, we can read through different guys. Because guys, we're not necessarily taught from a young age to finesse other guys. We're taught to finesse women. So therefore, it's not easy. A guy can see through another guy's BS. It'll take a woman 10, 15 years to finally figure out that the dude that she's been with is not worth it and ain't gonna work. When the whole time, it could have taken a dude 5 minutes, met him in his first 5 minutes and said like, yo, like, sis, this ain't it. And then you could have just not wasted those 10, 15 years. And it's the same on the flip side with the guys. Women can read women a lot easier than men can read women. We get finessed all the time too. Y'all built to finesse men as well. Like, let's be clear. But all right, let's keep it going. Lucille wrote, I got to have peace and be happy in the midst of it all. Love should be our language at all times. Love should be our language at all times. I don't disagree with that. But I just feel like we would just need to break down, what that, what love means to everyone. Because to me, and I believe that to you, love probably means something similar, but love is a duty. You know what I mean? It's a duty. It's a commitment. It's something that is shown every day. It's not, this emotional thing that's expressed. In my opinion, it's an action. It's a bunch of actions. It's a series of actions and a series of commitments. Ant wrote, Kiki, to your comment, I see what you're saying. And while I don't think the perfect person exists, I think the right person is who you're both willing to do the work to be with, to be right with. That's a fact, bro. That's how I look at it. I think the right person is who you're both willing to do the work to be right with. Yo, honestly, I'm going to just put it out there. Ant and Kiki, y'all be agreeing a lot. And I see y'all as this may have a little potential. So we may dive into this. Yo, Miami meetup, New Year's. Y'all know we may be making y'all know I like to play Hitch. That's my favorite movie. So we may have something here. You feel me? Let me not mess with. I'm just playing. I'm just putting them on blast because those are my people. Like I know that they won't be offended by it. But so yeah, so let's keep. I done stopped the video at number 2. I think let's keep going into the reasons.
And we're perfectly matched for our partners. We need to understand that this is like believing in heavily filtered Instagram photos. It's not the real or full picture. Once we can accept that, we can move forward towards being ready. 2, you're too busy to settle down. Modern society values success, hard work, and accomplishment, so people nowadays have become more competitive and ambitious than ever. It feels good to be the best in class, at work, being the most popular. To be the best, there's a drive to get into prestigious universities or be promoted to the top of the corporate ladder. With so many other priorities in your life, romantic relationships may simply not match in importance. 3. You're confusing any need for interaction with
Oh, that's my bad. I'm over here clowning. And Queens, you funny for that. But hey, let me get back to number 2, because I feel like we need to address number 2. So number 2 was that we're too busy chasing the accomplishments of life. And real quick, let me read Ant's comment. So Ant wrote, Lucille, love and peace won't always be there. That's why work has to be a big part of the relationship. Ooh, I agree. Lucille wrote, pray for the right person and God will give you the desires of your heart. well, I'm with you, Lucille. I'm with you. But I would just continue to flip it on. Instead of praying for the right person, Queez, what's the new energy that we on? It starts with me. So instead of praying for the right person, let's pray that we become the right person. Let's pray that we become the right person. Because let me flip it on you, Lucille. Let me ask the ladies, Kiki, you as well. And Ja, if you still on it. Any of the ladies on. If we believe that there's a right person for us, if we believe that there's a right person that God has chosen for us, do we believe that as women, do y'all believe? How can I word this? Do y'all believe that you are only a fit for one guy? Like if you believe that there's only one right person for you and that God has chosen them, do you believe that you're also only, you can only fit with one guy? That, or do you believe that if the right guys came to you, however, whether it's that guy or if my ex in my past would have, got his act together, then that could have worked out. Or if this situation, if this dude wasn't playing around playing games, then that could have worked out. Or do you believe that it's just one person? So let me make sure. Kiki wrote, Lucille, after praying for the right person, do you put in action, like actively dating, making yourself seen, or do you wait around for it? Kiki wrote, LOL, don't put us out there like that. You know it's all love. Ja wrote, you have to be the right person. Yes, you have to be the right person. Lucille wrote, yes, I do believe there's only one fit for me. This is Lucille. I really, I'm gonna pray for you as well, because if you really believe that there's only one fit for you, then I really do hope that you find that one person. I don't necessarily see it like that. Like I really feel like I may choose, to marry one person, but that doesn't mean that I think that, something could have only worked out with one person in my life. And to be totally honest, I think that it's actually better for me if I believe that, we could have made it work with a bunch of the different women that I've, exchanged energy with or haven't exchanged energy with, whatever that may be. But I'm choosing to be with you. Like this is the commitment. And in all actuality, this may not even be the easiest, the quote unquote easiest situation, but this is what we're choosing to commit to, choosing to work with. And this is the person that I'm comfortable riding this roller coaster with. Like, doesn't that make you feel even prouder? Or if you feel like, damn, like this is the only person that this could work out with. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. Ant wrote, Deck play too much. Ja wrote, me personally, I don't believe that I'm a fit for a certain type of guy, but definitely not only one. That's how, a certain type 100%. But I just feel like we're setting up unrealistic expectations and standards for ourselves. If we think that there's just literally just one, if there's just one guy or girl for us and we're the only one for that person, like that's like a one in a, I don't know. Literally, we have a better chance of hitting the lottery. And I know that we're, Lucille, when you're incorporating the prayer aspect as far as, praying for the right person, but we could pray for the lottery too. We got to look at odds here as well, right? we got to put ourselves in the best possible position to get what we're looking for. But I'm not opposed to what you're saying at all. I'm not opposed to what you're saying at all. I just see it a little bit differently. Yeah, but I don't want to. I'm not saying at all that you're wrong. Ant Road, I think people in your life can be seasonal until you find a season that you can chill, grow, and work with, or it can be a season until you find a season that you can chill, grow, work with. Seasons change until they don't. The past season helps you grow and brought you here. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Let's keep it moving.
To be the best in class, at work, being the most popular. To be the best, there is a drive to get into prestigious universities or be promoted to the top.
And how we didn't even talk about it. All right, so yeah, I think that society, what I wanted to touch on with this point is the fact that where do we get rewarded? And I think this is a lot on fellas. Like, I always look at us as the leaders, so therefore I have to put pretty much everything on us, even though obviously it takes work from both ends. But when it comes down to this, what do we see? Like, what do we see celebrated in society? When you go on Instagram and you see women being celebrated, it's because, oh, I just sold this house, or now I'm doing real estate, or, oh, I just got this promotion on the job, or, oh, I just got recognized with this award on my job, or, oh, I got this community, whatever it may be. When you see women being rewarded, we don't celebrate, oh, this woman, she's amazingly committed to raising her kids. She's committed to being a house. She is committed to not being a housewife or a house mom. I think we got to get away from that term, because clearly it's not. I don't think it's giving a good depiction of what that truly required. Maybe if we said the CEO of the household. Like, why do we give people credit for being, I don't know, a manager rather than being the CEO of a household? Maybe that's on us. That's why I said we got to give credit to, you are running a household, something that's changing every day. There is no more important business, corporation, group, team, structure, community than the household. But because it's not celebrated in that way, we all want to feel great about ourselves. We all want people to say nice things about us. So if we're only getting these things said about us from a women perspective, is when we're on job and related to different things outside of the home, then why would I want to be home? Y'all aren't celebrating me for being home. You're not celebrating me for having your kids, raising your kids, and holding the household down in every aspect, holding the family business down in every aspect. We're not celebrating those things, so we can't expect women to feel great about, wanting to go there. Why do we want to play basketball and become football stars? It's because we see how the celebrities are treated who are great at football and great at basketball. So it's very simple. So we're not rushing to run down jobs that we don't hold in high regards as that being a cool way of living. So that's just how I see it. All right, let's keep it going on the video.
Top of the corporate ladder. With so many other priorities in your life, romantic relationships may simply not match in importance. 3. You're confusing any need for interaction with the need for romantic love. What is love really? Can you define it? Can you solidly list out things that will tell you 100% yes, this is love, not something else? If you're not totally
What's
sure,
love, yo? What's love
or you
to
found
y'all?
yourself asking, how do I know this is love? You're not alone. And this confusion is another reason why modern relationships have become so fragile. Maybe what you feel you need isn't actually love. Perhaps you're interpreting your need for excitement or companionship for romantic love. Truth is, love isn't always going to be intense, passionate, or exhilarating.
I think this was what
It's
Ant
also
was
about
talking
mutual
about.
trust, respect, and partnership. 4. You want something now, not tomorrow. Ever heard something like, good things come to those who wait? Or even the song, You Can't Hurry Love? There's a ring of truth there. A mature, healthy, strong relationship requires time to blossom and room to grow. The problem is we live in an age of instant gratification and same-day shipping. We're not used to or practiced in patience. Many of us can relate to the guilty trait of wanting something but not wanting to put the time into it. We do the same with relationships. We rush in, then rush out when we think we see something better, shinier, and more immediate. We're suddenly treating relationships like a toy instead of a treasure. 5. You find the effort to be too much. Speaking of immediate gratification and new toys, ever tried reading a new book or starting a new hobby and thought, why is this so difficult? Don't fret, you're normal and fine. Thank our modern conveniences for the frustration. It can be difficult to remember that a solid, lasting relationship isn't instant ramen. It's a gourmet dish requiring time and care. Hitting that first relationship bump now results in scrapping it and saying thank you next, rather than working with and building something with the current partner. The result of this expectation of easy makes for ingratitude to what we already have. We cheapen love and become dismissive of the good that is in front of us. These expectations set us up for a string of disappointment.
I feel like that happens a lot, especially when we're always using a frame of reference to somebody else's relationship that we see when they're only putting it out in perfection. It's like somebody told me this a while ago. They said, it's like when we compare our life to Instagram and the things that we see on Instagram, whether that's relationships, individual success, whatever it may be, it's like comparing your practice to somebody else's highlight tape. It's like comparing your practice to somebody else's game highlight tape. So that's how I look at it with a lot of this stuff, because, we see people's, relationships. Everybody wants to be Beyonce and Jay-Z. It's like, well, you're not Beyonce and you're not Jay-Z. So, and it's okay, because what we see in Beyonce and Jay-Z's relationship may not always be that. It may be a little bit of an elevator situation here and there. It may be, normal situations that we're going through, but because we only see them in bliss, like with Barack and Michelle, we don't see the arguments. We don't see, where you just wake up and just look at the person and it's like, yo, that's just like they're breathing, they're annoying me, like whatever it may be. We don't see that. So it just gives us unrealistic expectations in my opinion. Lucille wrote, we all have a role model. Who is your role model? Someone who inspires you to go for the best. My role model is CeCe Winans and Alvin Love, and the pastor of the church and his wife. It definitely helps when we have role models. Definitely. Let me ask you this. From a religious aspect, is there anything in the scripture that describes, whether or not like there's just one person for you, one fit, or is there anything along those lines? I'm just interested to know. I don't know. Ant wrote, love for me is when I find the person that makes me want to be my best self for them and us. That has been my experience. Yo, Ant, yeah. Ant need a show, bro. Ant need a show. Ant wrote, love for me is when I find the person that makes me want to be my best self for them and us. That has been my experience. I think that's a dope way of looking at it, yo. When you have somebody that you really want to go above and beyond for, and you really want to do the extra things for, and you really want to sacrifice in your life to make that person's life as great as possible each and every moment, whether it's a big thing or just something small in their day-to-day life, I believe that's an amazing feeling, bro. Ja wrote, expect nothing, appreciate everything. In this day and age, you definitely have to. Well, it seems like that's where we at. Lucille wrote, don't try to be Beyonce and Jay-Z, but be yourself. 100%. 100%. All right, so let's just let's get through this real quick.
6. You're too guarded.
And then I want to show
you.
you.
Do you let your head rule your heart most of the time? Do you talk yourself out of the things that you want and let fears keep you from being happy?
All right, we got through that one. Come on.
A bit, and allow yourself the freedom to be with whomever you want, no matter the first impression problems or complications.
I don't know about
and
that.
7. You're too dependent on technology. Last, but surely not least, being too dependent on technology might be one of the key reasons why most modern relationships don't last.
Peep this,
Are you wondering if you rely on technology too much? Let's try a little experiment. Ask yourself how you'd feel for a full day without your phone. Seriously, from the moment you open your eyes, imagine your day step by step without your
Please pay attention to this, because I'm going to ask you a question in 15 seconds.
phone. Do you feel a little uneasy or that something is not right? While technology may have brought us all closer together, it's also keeping us apart. With the World Wide Web at your fingertips, you can be so caught up in your virtual life that you forget to live your real one. Texts, Chats and voice calls have replaced physical quality time with the ones we love. And when your whole life is already chronicled in an Instagram story or a Twitter thread, it can.
All right, y'all know where that's going. All right, yo, question. I gotta ask my question. Who here would give up social media, give up Instagram, if it gave them a better chance of being in a relationship and a successful relationship? Who here would give up Instagram right now if it meant this would be more beneficial for a relationship? You have a greater likelihood of getting married. Who here would give it up? And Lucille wrote, Ruth found her helpmate. Adam had Eve. This is true. With the right person, there is no fear, no anger, no envy, and no boundaries. Lucille wrote, I do. I think you were saying, Lucille, so you're agreeing you would give up your Instagram? Yes, Lucille wrote, I will give up everything. Queez wrote, he raised his hand, facts. Damn, Lucille wrote, I will give up everything. Hey, whoever the right one is, y'all need to pull up now because Lucille ready to give up everything. And when you meet her, make sure that you come in correct, man. We can't afford to be just like our ladies. We got to cherish, especially our ladies that that got the energy and mindset and grace that Lucille has. We need to make sure that we're not taking advantage of women like Lucille, and that we're appreciating them and not misleading and taking that responsibility on as the leader, as the most important role that there is. So Lucille, I'm with you, yo. They can't be pulling up on you playing games. Lucille ready to give it up, give up everything. All right. Not too many people will say that. Ant wrote, honestly, when I start a new relationship, I tend to not check socials at all. Yeah, and it's different. Like with a lot of us. Well, maybe I'm making excuses, but I just see it as a little bit different, especially if you're on there for business purposes, networking, all those different things. I definitely see the value. The social media is like the biggest marketplace. So if you're selling a product, then you need to be on social media. That's just how I look at it. It's just a marketplace. Now, when it comes to is it bad that I see a difference between do I see a difference between men and women on social media? Excuse me. I don't know. Actually, I was gonna say I do, but I don't know if I do. Actually, I don't know if I do see a difference. But let me get into this other video. I think this is a much shorter one that I want y'all to check out. And so this this video, why it stood out to me. My bad. Hold on. So this video, somebody sent it. Hold on. Did you send this video with the liberal woman? I don't know if Ant sent this to me, but so this video is about, there's a liberal woman on here. She describes herself as a liberal woman, and she's saying that a lot of the things that she's looking for, she can only find in conservative men. So I believe it creates an issue with her because she's a liberal woman, but she's looking for all the things that she's looking for in a guy are traditional and conservative. And to me, I'm not even showing this because of politics. I'm more so showing it because I just think that we are not on the same page. I just think that for whatever reason, we're not on the same page. Like, the things that men are encouraged to do are not aligned with being a great leader, being a great husband. And I think that the things that women are encouraged to do are not aligned with being a great, wife, and all the qualities that it takes to be a great wife. And at the very least, even if we're not on the wrong page, we're not on pages that align. You know what I mean? Like, we're not puzzle pieces that fit together. We are just not that. And it just shows. It shows in a lot of the ways that we carry ourselves. And it's like almost like you'll get women that are asking for one thing, but who you are as a person is not going to attract what you're asking for. And men, we do the same thing, where we are not the person that can, like, a lot of us, we're asking, you know, even when the conversation with being submissive, a lot of us may be asking for a woman to be submissive, but are we carrying ourselves in order to where we can attract a woman that's willing to be submissive to us? So that would be my my question as we go through this next video. And real quick, I'll catch up on the combos. Honestly, when I start a new relationship, I tend not to check socials at all. I think we got that from Ant. Kiki wrote, giving up social media is easy. I'm just saying, let me stop. Lucille wrote, see the right person as yourself. So see the right person as yourself. Get into a little bit more on that, because I feel like that's a deep one. Lucille, I want to make sure that we're all on the same, that we're all understanding you correctly, but seeing the right person as yourself. All right, so let's get into this video, and then I'll check back in with you, Lucille. All right, here we go.
Do you want to know one of the saddest realizations I recently had? Was that as a liberal woman, it is really hard to find a man who is willing to play the more traditional masculine role in the relationship in today's day and age, who is not a conservative. A man who wants to pay on the first date, who wants to open your door, who has that want and desire to take care of you and to provide, who is not a conservative. And obviously, as a liberal woman, I do want to be respected for my independence. And I do want to have my own autonomy in the relationship and not be confined or conform to the traditional female homemaker, childbearing role. And most of the men that I've dated who do have that more natural provider, and I do want to have my own autonomy in the relationship and not be confined or conform to the traditional female homemaker, childbearing role. And most of the men that I've dated who do have that more natural provider masculinity about them are normally conservative. So I don't really know what to do, because I don't want to compromise my morals and values just to find a man. But am I asking to have my cake and eat it too?
You know that people who live together before they're married are more like
Take the what and lead the what? Shout out to Hassan Campbell. Dang. But y'all hit. Hold on, let me get back to this video. Let me go back to it. She's talking about everything that she wants. Everything that she wants is something. Hold on, sorry, my fault. Everything that she's saying that she wants, she is attracting the opposite. She wants a conservative, traditional man to protect and provide, but then again, she doesn't want to be a traditional conservative woman. Like, a lot of the things are backwards. And like I said, this is not about bashing the women. This is just about us not being on the same page. And us, I would assume that is the goal, for us to be on the same page. Like, I would assume that that is the goal. So if the goal is for us to be on the same page, then there's going to be adjustments necessary on both ends, I would think, unless I'm just seeing it wrong, I guess. I don't know. We obviously don't live in a world. I don't know. A lot of fellas may believe, nah, I just tell her what it is and she gonna do exactly what I say. We're not living in that world. And I'm not saying that we should be. But so for a lot of us to stand on that, you know, it's just not realistic. But I also believe that on the other side, that we're not being realistic with a lot of this stuff. So I don't know. Let me get on to the next video. Y'all, not on that. So sorry, I know this is playing in the background. Give me 1 second. Okay, this is not what? Yeah, my bad. This, for whatever reason, it's my fault. I'm clicking something wrong. Something seems to be like a delay on my computer. All right, so one of the cultures that gets married very early. Is, hold on. I thought I put myself on mute. Y'all done heard my sniffle and stuff. It is what it is. Now y'all heard my, like, yeah, my allergies are acting up. My bad. So tried to mute it, but Y'all got me. Matter of fact, I'm gonna grab a tissue when I start this. So y'all check out this video. I'm gonna go grab a tissue real quick, and y'all tell me what y'all think.
People aren't getting married at an age where they actually are able to grow up with one another because your wife shapes you and you shape her, and that makes you both better people. You know, when I married my wife, I just turned 24 and she was 20, and we've spent our lives growing up together, right? I mean, now I'm 38 and she's, 35, and that's a long time to spend. I mean, half her life, basically we've spent together, and that means that you grow and you change and you have experiences, and then you bring kids into the world, and that radically changes you even more than just the marriage did. And when Jordan says that if you're 40 and single, you're blowing it, he is cutting directly against the grain of all current conventional wisdom, which is the best thing that you could do is delay marriage until you make associate at the law firm working 2,200 hours. My dad used to make a point about this. He used to say, people would ask him about when to get married, and he said, well, or how to find the right person. And what he always said is you have to make the decision to get married before you find the right person.
Yo, Ant funny, bro. He talking about old boy Ben Shapiro. All right, so did y'all hear what he just said? This was something that was big for me. Listen.
My dad used to make a point about this. He used to say, people would ask him about when to get married, and he said, well, or how to find the right person. And what he always said is you have to make the decision to get married before you find the right person.
Ooh. You have to make the decision to get married before you find that right person. You have to make the decision to get married before you find the right person. Do y'all agree with that? Do y'all agree with that? Because a lot of times what ends up happening, we always waiting to, when you gonna get married? When I find the right person, when the time's right, all these different things. We're putting it out there as if we don't have to be ready beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll just wait. Oh, I'll get ready. Once I find the right person, I'll naturally just get ready. Nah, like in our mind, we got to be looking for something. Like, it's hard to find something that we're not looking for. You feel me? If we don't know what to look for, then how are we going to find something? So Ant wrote, after he wrote, oh boy, Ben Shapiro, he wrote, I don't typically agree with Ben Shapiro ever. But I agree with him here. And that's the thing, that's dope that you are able to do that. Because Ben Shapiro, I definitely don't agree with him all the time. But I don't agree with everybody all the time. But I like to, there's certain things that we have to acknowledge. And I know a lot of us, whenever I sit here and say like, oh, well, this community does it this way, this community a lot. Well, that's that community. Yeah, but let's just see if we can take any game from people, right? My bad.
Get married, you have sex. Now it's you have sex, and then of events. Look at the sitcoms from the 90s versus the sitcoms from the 60s, right? In the 60s, it was you fall in love, you get married, you have sex. Now it's you have sex, and then it's really hard for you to say if you fell in love with the person, right? That's like the big move in a sitcom now is, did you fall in love? And then you never get married. The fact that my wife can still...
You can hear it? My bad, and I clicked off the screen. Let me know if you can hear it. I'll
the sitcoms from the 60s, right? In the 60s, it was... First, the polarity and the order of events. Look at the sitcoms from the 90s versus the sitcoms from the 60s, right? In the 60s, it was you fall in love, you get married, you have sex. Now it's you have sex, and then it's really hard for you to say if you fell in love with the person, right? That's like the big move in a sitcom now is did you fall in love? And then you never get married. The fact that my wife can still look at me as the person who, was 23 and just out of law school, and she can say, I see through all this crap, right? Like none of this makes a bit of difference to me. Right? The person who you are is not the person who the rest of the world sees. It's the person who I've known since long before you were that to the rest of the world.
Yo, what do y'all think about that? Do y'all think that we should be grown with people, that we should be getting married young and grown with people? So these are the things that I kind of question. Should we, let's say we graduate high school, should we be looking at getting married, or should we go to college and look for, somebody to marry while we're in college or right after college? Or in those early 20s, even if we're not at college? Should our ladies that are in their, early 20s be looking for somebody older let's say a guy in their 30s, mid 30s, because that's who's going to be in a position developed as a leader? Should we? So these are just the questions. I'm not saying that I'm pushing one towards, pushing towards one. But these are some of the questions that come up, because what they typically do in the Jewish culture, or what I've seen and what he's describing, is they get married at 20 and 24. So literally, those are your kids growing into your marriage. Do you guys think that we should grow into our marriage, or that we should already be, in a position to where we are the leader that we need to be, and we are the wife and husband in all our roles, that we are already where we need to be in order for the marriage to be successful? Or do you think that we should give ourselves grace, get married early, commit early, and then grow into that? What do y'all think?
That's an amazing thing. It also gives you the ability to have somebody who calls you on your bullshit, which is like an actual real thing. Once you get, to a certain level of power, people just are really, really afraid to call you on your bullshit. And having a group of people, whether it's friends or particularly your wife, who's able to do that is vital, because if you don't have that, you spin off the rails incredibly fast. My wife tends to think in terms of the effect on the family. Right? As a man, my main thing is like, what is my effect on the world? I mean, I literally do that for a living. What is my effect on the world? What's my effect on society? What's my effect on the people who listen to the show? And so I'll try to overcommit. Okay, I want to get all these things done, right? I mean, there's so much to do before you die, right? You got to get out there, you got to travel, you got to change people.
Yo, he's saying a lot. He's saying a lot, like, in a lot of different ways. Even when he talked about like how men view it, we view it, like, what's going to be my impact on the world? We prioritize that in a lot of ways, while women prioritize, no, what's going on at home? Like, what's best for our family, our immediate family, not what's best for society, what's best for you, me, and the kids. So it's just a different way of looking at things. That's why we're so amazing together. We see the world differently. We have different things that we're naturally better than each other at. And that's the beauty in coming together and traveling this journey of life together, right? That's the goal. All right, so let's see. Ant wrote, it could be ideal, but then again, if that season is outgrown, be okay with letting go. I'll have grown the most in a relationship, but I would not marry young. I would not marry young. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I have grown in most of my relationships. I got you. And Lucille wrote, it happens. I know people who are married for 70 years. The woman was 14, the man 19, and they got married and are still married. That's, to me, the right marriage. They share 5 children. Lucille, I'm not opposed to that. I'm actually with that. I think that there's a lot of value in getting back to those old school principles, because let's be real, as we grow, as we get older, we like to say that we're becoming the person, so we can be that leader, so we can be that wife, whatever it may be. In all actuality, all we're doing is learning how to become more and more independent. And if we're learning how to become more and more independent, then we're not going to be learning how to become interdependent. You get what I'm saying? So if everything that we're learning as we're in our 20s and in our 40s growing is all based on us learning how we can survive on our own, how are we grooming ourselves to now work with somebody in every aspect of life? So that would be the question I'm asking. And nah, don't worry about it. But the thing is, my screen is so small when I have everything open, so therefore I have to squint. It's not you, it's me. Nah, definitely don't slow it down. Keep the typing going. We'll figure it out on the way. We don't need perfect grammar in this group chat. We just would rather get the information out there. So don't worry about that. But yeah, those are just some of my thoughts. So we'll keep going.
You got to do all this. And my wife will say, yes, but what about the kids? Like, do you want to be away for that night? Do you want to be able to put the kids in bed? And you do need that balance. And again, the differences between men and women are not only beautiful, they are vital. And pretending that those differences are of no consequence whatsoever, and that other alternative forms of family structure are therefore equivalent in any way at all, they're different. They're different.
We are different. We are different. And it's amazing that we're different. All right, so let me hide that for a sec. So we may watch one more video. Let me make sure that I'm catching up with everybody. Lucille wrote, my job is to break the curse and teach my sons the right way and not make the mistake I made. Yeah, I get it. We're, all of us are curse breakers. You know, we're curse breakers, we're traditional upholders, however you want to call it. We are standard setters. That's just what we're here to do. We're all here to pass along lessons, skills, experiences to, you know, younger generations, and almost be an example of, you know, how they can learn from us to do better for themselves. So I'm definitely with you on that. I do want to show this next video because I feel like a lot of it a little early on. I feel like this adds a different aspect of it to when we talked about submission. I want to play this video because I want to get she. All right, here it goes.
There's just as much fear of submitting to someone as being a leader. A part of us being in survival mode is that you can't show weakness. That's every animal. When every animal is in survival mode, you have to hide your weaknesses. It's about getting through the next moment. And what we've been through as Black people in this country, we still very much in survival mode. Absolutely. It's harder for you to think long term. So now I gotta leave my survival, not my love, not my happiness, not my survival, up to this individual, or I gotta lead another individual. And a lot of us haven't reached a place in our own relationship, like with self, to where we healed enough to realize, like, oh my God, like, I'm capable of this. This person does trust me. It's not about survival anymore. We passed that, like, we actually building something here. So I think we definitely, as Black people specifically, have to give ourselves grace. We have one of the most unhealthy relationships with leadership that you could point at.
And that just goes back to the conversation that we had as far as, you know, not being taught, you know, to lead. We're not taught to lead. In American culture overall, I feel like a lot of leadership is being discouraged. Society is pushing us more to, you know, we're all the same. You know, we're role-less. We don't have any specific roles that we're supposed to do, or that inherently we're supposed to just you know, teach our daughters to be like this, teach our sons to be like this. There's no rites of passage for men. That's another thing that I feel like really affects our lack of leadership. The technology, a lot of the different aspects that we touched on today, all affected in different ways. But I do want to highlight the point that he mentioned, where it's like it can be scary too, and it should be scary when it comes to, you know, having a woman submit to us. You know, I don't know if scary is the right word, but I understand why I would be nervous. You know, nerves, you know, whatever you call butterflies, the same butterflies that you get before you getting ready to compete in any other area of life. Like, just know that you have those same butterflies, or I would assume that you're going to have them when it comes to, you know, having a woman's trust, as far as for you to be her leader and her family's leader. There's going to be a lot of that comes with it. But what do we do with all scary stuff that gets us nervous? We just prepare as best we can. We just prepare as best we can. And the better that we're prepared, you know, the better we are. You know, those nerves may still be there, but at least we'll gain the confidence as we go through real challenges and real situations, because we do have that preparation. So that way we're gaining confidence as we go through those situations. So my takeaway is, I wish that we could find a way to emphasize the importance of marriage and relationships, of family, of having a village, having a tribe. I think that we are naturally almost kind of cycling back to that. I think we've gotten so independent, so quick to move out of the house, so quick to move away from our family, that just family in general hasn't been prioritized. And I do think that we are getting back towards that, because we're realizing, like, yo, this is just, we're moving in this other direction very fast. And it's almost like we're rushing to crash. And we're not realizing that, hey, you know, maybe we need to, you know, turn around and move a little bit in the other direction. So I'm hoping that we can, you know, make relationships cool again, make marriage cool again. Maybe we should make some shirts like that or something. But that's my takeaway. So yeah, so I'm gonna leave y'all with that. You know, y'all continue to, I guess, throughout the day, Y'all tell me what y'all observing, and then maybe we can catch up on Wednesday a little bit more. But, you know, have these conversations because the more that we're having them, the more we're going to learn about, you know, what's for us. But maybe more importantly, we're going to learn about, you know, who we are. So, Ed Funny. Yo, Ed Funny. He wrote, my guy just magged marriage. Yeah, yo, we making marriage cool again, bro. We making marriages great again. That's what we doing, bro. That's what we doing. We making being wives, being husbands, being family oriented cool again. That's the goal. And Lucille wrote, to all men out there, let go of fear. It's not easy, but it's worth it. I think it is. I think it is. I think it is. So, yeah, when you let go of the fear, right? That's just the knowing. That's when we know. So, on that note, let's take 30 seconds. 30 seconds. And if y'all don't have anything to envision in y'all own lives, but I'm gonna take my 30 seconds to think about my bro Steve and Britt getting married. That's what I'm gonna take my 30 seconds to do. So I don't know. Everybody else, y'all take the 30 seconds to maybe think about your lives, think about, you know, who you may need to become, different things that you can work on. But for me, I'm just going to take my 30 seconds to show some love, some prayer, send some good energy to Steve and Britt, because I think if the things that we celebrate, I think those are going to, we're subconsciously or consciously telling ourselves that that's what we're looking for in ourselves as well. So I'm going to take 30 seconds to just celebrate this newly found love union, this family union of my dog SB and Britt, his beautiful bride, coming together and getting married. So that's what I'm going to take my 30 seconds to think on. But y'all do whatever y'all feel is best for y'all. So 30 seconds. All right. All right. Yo, appreciate y'all tapping in. Yo, we had a dope turnout, dope engagement today. So definitely appreciate y'all. Like I said, man, it always gets me amped. Like just to have people that jump on and we have this conversation together, it gets me excited. I'm in good spirits. You know, as we always say, you know, let's make this our best day thus far. Let's make this the best Monday ever. So therefore we can make this the best week ever. And let's just start appreciating certain things that we maybe didn't appreciate. You know, appreciate everything, you know, appreciate some of those people in our lives that, you know, maybe it wasn't all on them. Maybe we need to make some adjustments ourselves so we can appreciate making some changes in ourselves as well. But let's get back towards these relationships. Let's get back towards these relationships. Facts. And you already know 8,000 in the chat, baby. We had, yo, just so y'all know, we had 8,000 people. It just went down to 7,000 people. But yo, this is amazing, yo. This is what we doing for them. We doing for the people. You feel me? We doing for the people. But y'all know what it is. We elevating on purpose, both with intention as well as on our overall purpose, what our goal in life is, you know, what we're here for, the impact that we're looking to make, strength and honor. You know, that's what we preach, onward and upward. And we're going to keep getting to this bag with a big integrity, of course. And let's just keep growing. Let's just keep growing. We got an amazing community here. Yeah, I'm excited. So love y'all. And I'll tap in with y'all on Wednesday. And in the meantime, yeah, make sure y'all sending me more videos and we can engage in some combos to get ready for Wednesday. So on that note, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.